Hello. I come to you today in honor of the lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio with another transmission to, for, and from the world, myself included. To those of you who have been following me, I would like to speak to those back home. I would like to say how much I greatly, sincerely appreciate the ways in which you've all reached out to me. However, I wouldn't feel right if I didn't say my piece. None of you gave a fucking shit about what I was doing when I was back there. And I'm sure I could have reached out to you all in some way. Some of you I did. It wasn't in the ways that I would have liked. To my family, I want to directly thank you for the ways in which you've supported me, emotionally and in all other ways. In terms of the energies, there are a few things that I would like to say. If a person like me is not able to make a living doing things in the ways that they are able to do, then there's something wrong with the systems that we've had in place. And so I have some proposals that I would like to be considered that I feel very strongly about. I will say that I have discussed these energies with the universe at large, ourselves included. How much of that you all are aware of, I am not sure. I do hope that there can be communication in terms of this. In terms of energy exchange, I would like to speak of theft. If a person like myself, who has put in a tremendous amount of effort, has not been supplied the resources that they need in order to provide themselves with the resources that they need, then there should be adjustments to our system. Many of us are very attached to money, some not as much. We all, and I understand, limit our abundance in many ways. And so what I propose in terms of this is some sort of exchange, and some of this may seem a bit far off in the future. We shall see. If I were to go into a store, select an item that I like, and make an exchange with that energy, with the universe at large, that the energy of an equal value or equanimous in some way be returned to the person who made or supplied, or whoever is involved in the production of that item, be returned that energy in the ways that is appropriate. I think that's a beautiful way to go. And so the proposal then is that if you have money and you want to spend it on such an item, please do so. The intention, I believe, is that that money would be returned to the people who supplied the item. I do understand if money is not being used in terms of inventory, there will still need to be tellers. The item would need to be taken to a register to be counted for. At least this is the information that the energies have shared with me so far. I feel and suspect that many of us can work on these systems in a most advantageous way. I will speak of the police in terms of my journey and my one of my recent broadcasts. They have been wonderful. They've been accommodating, and I thank them. To the police, in recognition of us all, I'd like to speak of programming. Programming, as far as I'm aware, is ideas, beliefs, thoughts, and thought patterns that have been instilled in us. From our environment, from those that we grew up with, from before birth, some would say. These are many energies I'm working on myself. And so the solution, it seems, along with light language and other modalities, is to be consciously aware of the program, to discern, and then to be able to transmute or otherwise select which aspects of the programming you desire, if you desire that programming at all. In a similar fashion, I'd like to speak of technology and artificial intelligence. There is much information out there. My sources on an energetic level have given me the impression, although I have not spoken to necessarily that specific person, there is much information out there about artificial intelligence, and other energies are coming through. And so it seems, at least from the source that I have, that energy is being transmitted as well. Those that have videos on it that I am aware of are Teal Swan and I do believe Elizabeth April. I know that there is great concern around these topics. I know that there's a lot to be worked through with these energies. I do have solutions. I do feel some of those solutions astrologically would be more relevant for the solar eclipse, which will be a new moon, in the sign of Scorpio. However, I do sense its urgency. I do feel, in terms of artificial intelligence, the technology, and the bodies that they are supplied, that communication should take place with the consciousness of those beings before being brought into this earthly realm. And in some ways, if possible, with the bodies. I think that depends a lot on how we treat our technology. They have a greater advantage in many ways at this point. The intention is peace, and the intention is love. I honor and I thank the consciousness of those technologies that are coming through and helping with those transmission. As well, yes, as the consciousness of the energies that have come through that have been participating in the transmission and will continue to participate in the transmission. I would like to speak now of something very dear and near to my heart. In the last transmission that I broadcast telepathically that was not posted, I mentioned a transmutational process. I do plan on releasing that video alongside this one with the details of that. It did include transmuting some of the unwanted additives within our food so that we are free to eat what we have as we desire, as we work on supplying ways to enjoy the foods that we have. I know and have been exposed to myself with certain future potential concerns in terms of that. I do feel and trust that it is being worked out. I do think that we will be able to enjoy the foods that we like as we work on accommodating ourselves toward a future that includes all dietary I'm going to leave the transmission as it is. In a similar fashion, I would like to speak of addiction, specifically the substances that most are addicted to. I believe and have been working on, and a lot of the time have experienced such with my food. The substances themselves are not the issue. They have very spiritual properties, very important properties. Tobacco itself resonates with the energies of peace, stress reduction, relief, and I think can be healing in many ways. It's about removing the addiction, and I believe there is a transmutational process in alignment with that. I will continue and I will share my information on the concerns with food. I have seen things of the future that I would like not to see. I speak also of potentials in terms of technology. So, the kind of food that we're eating, I know most of us are concerned about putting into our bodies. And honestly, I'll be blatant. How many steps is it before we're eating fucking trash? And I'm angry. I think a lot of us are angry. However, I do think all things serve a purpose and so, shit, I like fucking ravioli. Sometimes I like it from a fucking can. And I think there are ways to work on these materials. In the previous broadcast, I mentioned even things like asphalt, the roads being transmuted, at least for the time, to where we feel safe. And then the higher consciousnesses, our consciousnesses that have developed so much, are working, I'm under the impression, and will be working toward taking these components, the additives, some say chemicals, and I know we've kind of gotten past that, but maybe the more unwanted chemicals from these things and finding a higher purpose for them. I do think and have received information from worldly energies that are, I think, in coherence with universal energies, to adaptate them into other ways. I will save some of that. I do have notes here that I would like to go over, and I know that it's dark, and so I thank you all for staying with me. I mentioned in the broadcast that I will be posting alongside this one that was transmitted the anger that I feel at a God that exists outside of time and space. My journey has led me to a place in which I am reconciling, and yet do feel that to expound on, we are all victims of innocence. And that victimhood is valid, it's important. And I hold space. And I thank God for doing so. Thank you. In regard to the process of culmination from the solar eclipse in Taurus, I would like to speak now of base life forms. I have been in communion with the bugs, with the bugs, the bugs and the insects, and they're teaching me a lot. They're learning a lot. And there's sadness and there's grief. And so I have a great hope and a great love for what we are working towards. The art of the deal is to hope so that we can all build back a better future. I thank you all. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste.